What's up, everyone? I am SheWulf from Gamers Knows Best, joined by GKB.
What's up, everybody?
And at another indie discussion, we are going to be talking about zombie Vikings, so let's get into the video.
From the creators of the indie smash hit Stick It to the Man comes a new one, 4-player co-op, stab you in the gut-a-thon, embark on a dead funny adventure with zombie Vikings. A putrid posse sent on a mission through the most epic of worlds to retrieve Odin's lost eye. Play as the most fearsome Vikings ever raised from Norse soil: Gunborg, Sigurd, Hedgi, and Kaka. Hack through the gingerbread swamps of Malgaga. Cruise through the intestines of the Midgard serpent, fight giant poultry. Some of the key points of the game is a co-op story brawler with 1 to 4 players, single player online and offline multiplayer, written by Zach Wintersmith. 25 levels in 8 different worlds plus 5 versus arenas. Choose among 4 different zombie Vikings, each with unique power moves. Over 40 unlockable weapons. Try out Stinkeneer or a blunt fish trauma. Collect Viking runes and gain new cool abilities. Mix up your style of play. Stitch all your friends together in a giant mega zombie. Working together is fun.
Alright, so first we're going to jump into graphics, which of course this is the eye candy that pulls you in. And when it comes to the graphics, I have to say this game was so fun. I love the water-based paint look that it has, but also it had a great backdrop as well that was still moving and still enjoyable to look at, but at the same time, it brought a lot of different colors together and just making it great.
Yeah, I thought the graphics are great too. It's like a 2.5D side scroller. You can move in all directions, so you can move side to side just like a side scroller, but you can go backwards and forwards through the different parts of the map. It's got that brawler type kind of gameplay, kind of like old school Double Dragon and stuff like that. I agree. There's a ton of unique characters and weapons as you progress through the game and get. All of them are super unique. They look great. They have great moves and stuff. You're Vikings, so everything is done in the Norse mythos. So you're gonna see Odin, Loki, all those types of characters as you play through the game. They kind of tie it really well, even though it's kind of like a funny zombie Viking type of game. They keep it grounded in that mythology, which is really cool.
They even talk about Valhalla and all that kind of stuff throughout the game. And what's great is also it almost feels like a cookie cutter, just paste on scenes as you go through each level, but there's actually different enemies that you actually face that I find bring out the levels so you don't notice it as much, because you're really going from point A to point B and the maps are kind of similar to where you're allowed to go. But with the enemies and the different feels to each scene, they definitely they give you that, but they don't make you think about that as you're going through the game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, where it's kind of like cookie cutter, like a level development kind of thing, because it's really just, going side to side and not really much else. It's kind of like, they don't really say it's a platformer, and they don't really have that much of it. You can kind of jump around a little bit, and, it's got a little bit of puzzles here. But for the majority of it, you're just walking through and fighting. But I do like how, what you're saying is like all the different enemy types and stuff that keep it interesting as you're playing through the game. I thought the effects were really good too, being like a 2.5D kind of game. Like, they have great fire effects. Like, they have these little enemies that like electrocute themselves and then try and like electrocute you, which was cool. Another one of those is kind of like a little gory, but they kind of do it more humorous.
You get your head cut off, but there's not like blood everywhere.
Right. So that was kind of cool. I thought all the bosses looked really cool too. Those are probably, like the epic points, and that's what they should be in games, is like when you get to the boss, you should be like, oh wow, that's crazy. So I enjoyed the look of those as well.
I also really enjoyed the fact that when you killed enemies, they actually broke into graffiti.
Confetti.
So, yes, confetti, sorry. So that made it also more humorous and brought a lot more color. Instead of just seeing a red blood, you see different colors burst into the enemies when they die, and I thought that was a great
Yeah, I like that too. Like your health and stuff is like brains because you're zombies. I thought that was funny as well. To buy stuff, but we'll talk about that when we get into the gameplay and everything.
I know, like you actually touched on a bit when it comes to the graphics and the characters, none of them look the same.
Nope.
They all have their own unique feel, and some of them are darker colors, which make them stand out for their point, but at the same time you have others that are actually very bright and colorful, which just make them each unique to their own style. And you'll also see, like, one of the main male characters, he has a squid attached to him, so, you know, he puts himself out from the rest of them.
Like a cause, like she could transform into like a bird. She kind of like flies around a little bit. Like Frostborn or whatever his name is. He has like all these ice powers. He's, you know, kind of looks like a Sasquatch or, you know, something like that. It's pretty cool.
All right, now we're going to jump into the gameplay, and of course, this is something that most people want to know about. Is this game easy to understand, or is it just pretty much crap to begin with? Personally, when it comes to the gameplay in this, I have to say I love how you actually run through this game. It's very simple to use the skills. It's very simple to pick things up, hit things. It's just a standard attack, jump, use your special. You actually press Y and you'll, for instance, I was using Kaka, and when you press Y, you would blow them away, but if you hold Y, you would be able to actually do her finisher, which would then throw her up in the sky and smash her down. So I thought that aspect was really cool, how they had their own unique powers.
Yeah, I think like games sometimes just for the sake of gameplay, they just add so much gameplay and a lot of it's wasted. And not so much in this game. Like it really is just a brawler. You have a couple attacks, a special move, jump and stuff like that to keep it pretty simple but effective. I thought that was really good because you're not spending a lot of time, well, I need to learn this button combination to do this special attack. No, you just simply hit the button, it does what you need it to do. So I thought the gameplay was really solid for a brawl. There's also 25 levels in 8 worlds. They're all kind of like similar but different. I thought the tons of weapon options that you can have, some of the customization. There's not a lot of customization because you can't really customize your character, but you can change the weapons, and they're kind of funny looking and stuff too, so it adds to that humor and stuff like that.
I also like that they added side missions into this game, which allow you to actually do other things, which get you other weapons as well, and different ruins, because you also get ruins that help you with your speed, with your health, regeneration, and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was really well.
When you got the ruins, like I really didn't use any other one besides the health one. Like I didn't find a need. Like I always thought like my weakest part of my character or any of the characters you played was the health. So I always used the health rune. Like did you use any of the other ones?
I used the double jump because one, it was helpful when I was trying to get like some of the end puzzles, because I did complete this game, and near the end, some of the puzzles you are running and you actually have these wide things that you do have to jump around, or to get the chests and stuff like that, you are going to need the double jump. However, there was some runes that I did find didn't seem to do anything. I had the regeneration one, and I didn't find it was very useful.
Well, some of them are based off like you have to attack or you get to a certain point of health and something, and then they would kick in. They're kind of really weird. I thought that was the only part of like the gameplay aspect or the gameplay mechanics where I was kind of like, well, I didn't really see the need for anything else but the health one, where SheWulf used a couple of them, but there were still some that you really didn't, get into.
Same with the weapons. The weapons were a little bit disappointing because you had a lot of them that were negatives.
Yeah, it would like drop down like damage.
Your health or your damage.
Up your speed or something like that.
I always used the candy cane one because it was +2 health and +2 damage. So it just seemed to be the best one that gave me the most effectiveness while playing. And that was really the only one I stuck with. All the other ones just didn't really please. But there was definitely a lot that were unique and fun to look at.
Yeah, we're staying on the unique thing because also you can pick from 4 characters in the beginning, but as you play through the game, it unlocks a ton of other zombies.
3.
Yeah, there's a lot there that so they're giving you more that you can play through, and you can, as soon as you unlock them, you can play them in the next level. So you don't have to like start a new game or anything like that, which I thought was really cool. Again, much like Rise and Shine that we reviewed too. This is another one that changes up the gameplay as you progress through the game, because it's not just all side scroller things. you also get into parts where you actually have to run away from like this big enemy that's chasing you, which is nice because it changes up the monotony of the, just the 2D side scroller brawler type stuff. And then you get to the boss fights too, which I thought is some of the best gameplay mechanics. Like you fight the witch, you fight the ocean guy, which was really cool because you had to use like the bombs. Yeah, the big octopus. You had to use the bombs to shoot up and hit the guy in the eye, and then he would fall down. You had to like hack and slash him to death, and then he would throw enemies. That's some of the best gameplay in there was the boss fights and stuff like that.
I definitely agree with the boss fights. I don't want to give anything away, especially the last boss and stuff, but as you progress, the bosses actually do get a little more difficult and do start using more mechanics as they're moving away. You'll have ones that are actually smashing, but you have to throw things, and it definitely does make it more challenging, but still more fun. But I like how it progresses kind of, because again, this doesn't have difficulty, so you can't choose like easy, normal, or hard. But it starts off more easy and then progresses as it goes to a more challenging, and I really enjoyed that. However, I have one dislike. The whole 2.5D thing kind of thing where you can move from front to back. When I was trying to fight bigger enemies, because it does lock you in a certain spot of the map as you're going when you come up to a wide group of enemies, and you have to complete them before you can actually progress. And when you're trying to attack them, sometimes you tend to like go too far back, or you'll come too far forward while you're trying to attack, and that's not where you're trying to be. So I do find that was an issue. And playing a group as 4 co-op, there was some problems with a bit of glitching where we got stuck during the map.
More than some problems, there's a lot of problems. I think that was the biggest part. Like what you were talking about, we get to points where you got to defeat all the enemies, and like either enemies would be off the map or we kill them all, and we still couldn't progress forward. And then all of a sudden something would happen, and then it would glitch forward again.
Or we would have to restart from the last checkpoint.
The whole checkpoint and stuff like that, which is kind of frustrating, especially when one of their key features is a 4-player co-op. It's a bit buggy.
But we'll add, that only happened in the 4 co-ops.
Yeah, single player
mode,
never had an issue.
I had no issues at all.
So hopefully a patch hasn't come out yet to fix any of those issues as the time of this recording. So hopefully it comes out to fix that, because that's definitely an issue they need to address.
I'm also going to throw in for gameplay, if you're achievement hunting, this is not a game for achievement hunting, because this game, the achievements are a lot of co-op based, and they're ones that you really have to actually look, read, and see exactly what you have to do to complete them. Yeah. So it is not an achievement hunter.
It's not easy gamer score, people. You actually got to work at this one.
And I do love that they incorporated Fee into the game as well. One of their other upcoming indie games, you do get to play as a side mission.
So yeah, I think the gameplay overall was a ton of fun. Definitely check it out if you're up for it.
All right, so now we're going to jump into the story, and of course, was there actually a good story to this game?
Yeah, I think for the most part, I thought one of its best features of Zombie Vikings is the story itself. They set you up for a really comedic presence in this game. I found myself, I haven't beat the whole game, about 75% through, but I found myself laughing most of the time playing this game. They have a really great sense of humor, and that's what I liked. So the story in general is Loki steals Odin's eye, and you're pretty much chasing him down. Odin resurrects like these 4 Vikings that you're kind of like zombies and like pieces of other things. But yeah, you're chasing down Loki trying to get the eye back is essentially what the story is. Like, we're not going to ruin it for anybody, but definitely some fun, hilarious times. What did you think?
There's a lot of great dialogue when it comes to this game. Each character has their own unique style of how they are. Like, you'll get one that's one Viking, she's like really nice, and then you have another who just doesn't really care. And then you also get each individual story as you go through the maps. They also all kind of tell you about the Vikings and where they, why they are what they are and how they became what they are as well. So I thought that was really cool how they put that in. And the cutscenes themselves are really like enjoyable to watch and listen to as well. the voice acting was really good in this game.
Yeah, everything's like voice acted in this game, which is hilarious. Like even the small little enemies, like as you come up on them, they're like talking and having conversations and stuff. So yeah, they did a really good job with the voice acting. I'd have to agree. It adds to the story too and more immersion into the game. So.
Do you find some of the dialogue, though, is a little more adult-oriented than children-oriented? This is rated teen, after all. It is funny, but again, you have to know the humor to get it. But other than that, I really enjoyed the story. Without giving any details away of how it goes, I really enjoyed this story.
Yeah, definitely if you have some kids, make sure you check out the game before you let them play it. It might be a little too much humor or adult humor that you might not want them to be into. So that's totally up to you. That's your decision, but just fair warned.
Because you have like a witch who's looking for like a man, and there's some not so great dialogue in there.
That's actually pretty funny.
It's funny, but not appropriate.
So yeah, I think we really enjoyed the story. So.
All right, so now we're going to jump into our final thoughts, and I'm going to say I personally really enjoyed this game. For $11.99, it is definitely a buy. There's a lot of content for you to do and a lot of gameplay for you to run around and play with an amazing dialogue. So I personally recommend this game.
Yeah, I agree. I would definitely recommend this game. Is it a perfect game? No, it does have some bugs right now, like we were saying about the 4-player co-op. But the story is the crowning jewel of this game. If you're really into like, you know, funny sense of humor, adult humor, this is definitely a game for you. If you're into zombies, and again, great. If you're into brawlers, it's another fantastic one. It's really a gem in the indie scene. Can't recommend it enough, actually. Definitely has the governor's seal of approval. So if you're into these kind of games, definitely pick it up. You will be laughing and enjoying the crap out of it.
Well, everyone, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure you consider hitting that like button. If you had a chance to play Zombie Vikings, make sure you guys leave a comment below, because we would love to hear your experience and what you guys thought about the game. And as always, thank you for watching. I'm SheWulf, and this is
GKB.
See you next time.
And as always, take care, you fellow gamers.